great TEW9 mod can keep players playing for years, a bad one can feel broken within 10 minutes. And most players can tell the difference almost immediately. Because the problem isn't usually effort, it's understanding what actually makes a real wrestling world feel believable. Most new modders focus on the wrong things. They obsess over ratings, overalls, match quality, how many wrestlers they can fit into a database. But the best TEW9 mods, they understand something much deeper. Momentum, regional identity, television power, star aura, economics. The invisible systems that make wrestling feel alive. Because wrestling has never been balanced. In 2001, WCW didn't feel like ECW, and ECW didn't feel like the WWF. And the Southern fans didn't react the same as the tri-state area fans. But in some bad mods, everybody feels the same. Every company survives forever. Every wrestler becomes overpowered. And eventually, the simulation collapses. That's why today, we're breaking down the 20 biggest tips for making a TEW9 mod. Not just a realistic one, a believable one. Because realism alone doesn't guarantee good gameplay. And some of the most historically accurate mods ever made are some of the least fun to play. So whether you're building a modern database, a Monday Night War save, or a full alternative history universe, these are the lessons that separate every mod, and the ones that players remember for years. Tip number 1. Start with a clear vision. Before you create a single worker, you need to understand what kind of world you're building, because a January 2001 realism mod should not feel the same as a modern sandbox mod, and a fantasy rebooking universe should not feel the same as a hardcore historical simulation. The biggest mistake new modders make is trying to do everything at once. Every company, every wrestler, every region, every free agent, every title lineage, and eventually the database becomes bloated, directionless, and impossible to balance. The best mods stay focused, because focus creates identity, and identity creates immersion. Tip number 2. Stat scaling is more important than individual stats. This is where most mods completely fall apart, because if everybody has elite psychology, then nobody feels elite. And if everybody has 85 charisma, charisma stops meaning anything. And if half the industry suddenly has 90 star quality, then your world stops becoming believable. The best TEW mods protect high ratings. A 90 should feel rare, special, almost untouchable, because once ratings inflate, then players feel that immediately. Tip number 3. Popularity matters more than work rate. This is one thing that is hard for new modders to accept, because wrestling fans naturally focus on match quality. But historically, the biggest stars were not always the best wrestlers. They were the biggest attractions, the biggest personalities, the biggest draws, and TEW reflects that. A wrestler with incredible psychology but weak popularity will never truly feel as important as somebody that the audience cares about. That's why balancing popularity correctly is one of the most important things in the entire game. Tip number 4. Regional popularity should never feel equal, because wrestling fans have always been regional. WCW always performed stronger in the South. WWF always dominated the Northeast and the tri-state area, and ECW thrived in certain markets where its style hit correctly. But many mods ignore that completely. They make popularity perfectly even everywhere, and the result feels artificial instantly. Regional imbalance creates realism, it creates strategy, and most importantly, it creates identity. Tip number 5. Broadcasters are more important than most modders realise. Television exposure shapes entire companies, changes popularity growth, revenue, momentum, audience expectations, and even presentation style. A tiny local station should not feel the same as a massive broadcasting juggernaut, and networks with strict content rules should completely change how companies operate. Because in wrestling history, television was never just distribution, it was survival, and sometimes control. Tip number 6. Workers need weaknesses. Perfect wrestlers are boring. Some stars should struggle in ring. Some elite workers should lack charisma. Some legends should decline physically with age. Because flaws create realism, And realism creates stories, because a database where everyone is amazing quickly can become forgettable. But a world filled with limitations creates decisions, and decisions create gameplay. Tip number 7. Experience should feel earned, not automatic. Not everybody with a famous name deserves elite experience, because experience reflects repetition. Thousands of matches, years of touring, time spent understanding crowds. A young prodigy with natural talent should still feel different from a 20-year veteran, and those differences matter over long-term saves. Tip number 8. The database needs to feel alive. Relationships matter, tag teams matter, backstage politics matter, stables matter, chemistry matters, history matters, because wrestling has never existed in isolation. Tip number 9. Test your mod long term. Not just 1 month, not just 1 year. Simulate multiple years. Watch what happens. Watch which companies collapse. Which wrestlers become stars. Which systems break completely. Because many mods look good initially and they completely implode over time. Long-term testing reveals everything. Tip number 10. Fun matters more than perfection. This might be the most important lesson of all, because players remember experience, not spreadsheets. Sometimes small gameplay adjustments improve a mod dramatically, even if they sacrifice tiny amounts of realism, because the goal is not to recreate history perfectly, it's to create a world that players want to stay inside. And the greatest TEW mods of all time understand that balance perfectly. So that was the first 10 tips. If you want 10 more, which I have ready, I want to see 100 likes. If not, it'll be released in about a week's time. I hope you enjoyed that. Please keep up to date on the community page for the mod that I'm building in 2001 called the McMahonverse. Please like and subscribe for more TEW content, and I'll catch you all